In this chapter, we head to North America to discuss When Growth Isn't Difficult, It's Urgent, moderated by Howard Kaplan, General Manager of Strategic Accounts North America at Mambu. Howard, over to you.
Thanks, Nina. It's great to be here today. Today, our topic for discussion is When Growth Isn't Difficult, It's Urgent. My name is Howard Kaplan, and I'm the General Manager over Strategic Accounts at Mambu North America. I'm excited to host Tom Mazzaferro, the Chief Data Officer for Western Union, and Tim O'Connor, a Principal at Deloitte Consulting USA, for a discussion around evolution and change. When speaking about change, there's no better example than Western Union, an organization founded in 1851 that has successfully evolved from the telegraph to being at the forefront of money transfer. That pace of change continues today, and we'll discuss with Western Union how they plan to maintain that momentum. Many organizations look to partner to support their initiatives. We'll find out more from Deloitte and how they partner with organizations to help redefine business models and how they can bring frameworks, assets, accelerators, and an ecosystem to help them win in the new AP-driven economy. Hi, Tom. Welcome and many thanks again for joining our panel. Given our panel title, When Growth is Not Difficult, It's Urgent, I cannot think of a better organization than Western Union to join today. Would you mind sharing a bit more about Western Union, its history, and how a 170-year-old organization is planning to continue to lead the change into the future? Maybe also highlight a few of your key initiatives.
Thanks for having me. Really exciting times at Western Union over the last 12, 18 months or so. So to give a bit of background to start off, we are a global company, one of the probably the few in the world that actually operate in 200 plus countries and territories. On top of that, we service hundreds of millions of customers every single year, where we allow them to send money from country A to country B to friends, families, and loved ones around the world to help them have a better life, to provide gifts, services, and to support their families and loved ones around the world. Really an amazing a culture and an amazing opportunity for us to really support those customers even more holistically beyond just money transfer. So that really goes into our initiatives that we're focused on for this year and going forward is how do we actually service our customers better by enabling them additional products and services going forward to really allow them to better manage their money, their financials, better support their families in the future, right, and offer them better opportunities in their everyday lives. So a few examples that we've actually talked about a few times at our earnings calls and a few different forums is we actually are in the process of launching a digital bank. So we're launching one in Q4 this year. That'll be starting in Europe with 2 countries, Germany and Romania. And then we'll be looking to expand that more holistically across the EU and other regions as well. This is really key for us because it allows us to plug in our real-time network, our ability to send money around the world, right, and pay out either to our 550,000 retail locations or to our over 4 billion bank accounts around the world. On top of that, it really helps to support our customers better manage their money, have a single place to manage their money, right, save for the future, right, and then we can also offer them other products and services to help service their special needs going forward. So really a great opportunity for us, an opportunity for us to better service our customers and for them to go to one place to really help manage their needs going forward.
Great, Tom, thanks for that. That's really great insight, and it's exciting to hear how Western Union is continuing to move money around the country and how you're moving into the new economy as well. And Tim, welcome to our panel as well. You know, I really wanted to try and reconcile what Deloitte's point of view is from a market perspective as to trends and priorities, but also things that organizations need to be thinking about as they think or decide on how to move forward and embark down this world of digital modernization.
Thanks, Howard. Thanks for having me, everybody. Yeah, so I think, you know, what we see in the marketplace is a lot of stuff that Tom kind of just teed up, which is this incredible acceleration around what you can do digitally to support your kind of core customers and how you can use modernization initiatives in digital to expand those relationships, to do more, right? To expand the aperture of how you transact with them into more meaningful things and provide additional services. So we've seen for the last few years, just this continued acceleration of innovation and modernization, obviously around, you know, all things digital. and really kind of unlocking a lot of this value that's been pent up within the financial services ecosystem because of what you can do now technically around the full stack digital solutions at the experience layer, integration within core platforms like Mambu, and from a cloud standpoint. And so we see a lot of organizations starting to really assemble these differentiated solutions and get them into market much faster to be able to have a lot of success with how they can uniquely, based upon their own strategies and market propositions, really establish a linchpin relationship with customers in those new models, right? And having a lot of success with it. And so as we see this marketplace continue to fold, we see different type of approaches as people have strategies that are specific to their brand, right? The thing that we think of from a Deloitte standpoint is you can't just have a Me Too type of model. Just because somebody else is building the digital bank doesn't mean it's going to be the right proposition for you. It really has to be at this intersection of desirability, viability, and feasibility. Desirability being kind of what's the real market strategy and the proposition that you're going to take to market that's going to land for the people that you serve and for the marketplace and the customers you aspire to actually convert. Viability in terms of economically, what's it going to take to actually make that real? What's going to take to operate that? Operations around it, and also the regulatory schemes that you need to account for. And then feasibility being technically what's really feasible, who are the right partners to bring together. And so if we think about the successes that Western Union's had and how they've really leaned into this modernization, so much of that's driven by the intersections of their market strategy, what's really sensible from a viability standpoint around the economics and what the potential is for them. And then feasibly, what's the right way to approach this technically, how you assemble the solution together.
And then, Tim, digital modernization is such a buzzword in the industry right now. When you're talking about these different types of organizations, are they in any specific industry, or are you seeing them across a number of different types of industries or groups?
Yeah, actually, so we're seeing this tremendous convergence, right? And it's because of, what non-traditional FIs, fintechs, organizations like Western Union and traditional banks are seeing as this opportunity to kind of expand out the offerings and how they create meaningful financial or economic related relationships with customers. And so that convergence has led to this real acceleration in banking as a service, embedded finance, and different ways that people are assembling these type of relationships and propositions for customers. And I think that's going to be the real wave of the future is, whether or not you're a bank or non-traditional FI or a retailer that has an existing relationship with a small business or a customer, it's how do you actually make more meaningful relationships with them? And so much that's about, what matters from the way that you facilitate payments. What are the other type of things that you can offer those individuals from, lending, other services? And we're going to see this continued convergence around that stuff. And so much that is driven by the expectations of the customers and the businesses that are part of this ecosystem, right? People expect to be able to facilitate commerce frictionlessly on their phone, right? And whether or not you're a bank on the back end, a non-traditional FI, or the retailer itself, the end customer doesn't really care. What they care is to be able to get the services at the point of which they want, at the price at which they want. And we're seeing a ton of momentum around moving into those type of models.
That's great. So it really is all about customer experience at the end of the day, and how organizations like Western Union are really focusing on that customer experience to do a variety of different types of things and offer a variety of different types of services. Tim, one more question for you. Just everything you described kind of takes this outside-in approach, right? Where organizations are partnering to look at enhanced value propositions. Can you elaborate just a little bit more on that? And is there a place where Mambu or organizations like Mambu can help?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think organizations today, and again, Western Union is a great example of this, have taken this, how do I first starting for what's most impactful for our customers as their first lens, right? It starts with what's going to really resonate and allow you to actually win more in the marketplace for the consumers or the businesses that you serve with. That's the first kind of lens that we see everyone kind of like focusing in on. And the second piece is this ecosystem, right? Where there's a tremendous amount of amazing things happening in an industry with different providers, right? That are either small scale or large scale that allow you to compose these solutions to be able to achieve what those customers really want. And Mambu fits in that equation because Mambu is, seeing tremendous upside in terms of what they provide as the next generation core and the composable nature of Mambu, so that you can assemble it with those other vendors and ecosystems in a way that really fits the profile of what the consumer or small businesses are looking for.
Tim, thanks for that additional detail. That's great. And Tom, yeah, as you described Western Union as this large global company, you're the chief data officer there. You're obviously driving a lot of the different strategic initiatives, big sponsor around change and digital modernization. What are some of the things that you're doing as the chief data officer to really drive forward some of these initiatives?
Yeah, so it's really a few things. Yes, I'm the CDO. I've also been asked and tasked to do a lot of transformation across the company itself. The reason why those two they come together is because data really is the lifeblood of any company, right? Going forward, and it has been, and people are now realizing that and the power that it can enable, right, to provide that seamless customer experience and that overall better product capability, right, to our customers. So as part of that, we obviously are partnering with Mambu and Deloitte to launch our digital bank across Europe. So that is a huge part of our transformation and strategy about how do we enable a foundation of financial services products and capabilities that we can offer to our customers going forward. On top of that, we actually just launched a global e-commerce platform called Shop that actually allows you to shop in 62 countries around the world as if you were locally in that country and have free shipping. Right, so actually solving one of the big customer problems out there today, where if you want to go and send a gift or buy groceries for a friend or a family, but they live in a different country than you, it takes you half an hour to an hour to find a merchant. It takes another $50 to $100 to ship those goods right to that individual. This actually solves that problem. You can go and pick whichever country you want to shop in. We have merchants that are pre-aligned, right, to different categories, and then you can shop across 12,000 different companies around the world, and provide free shipping to your friends or family, right, in those countries. So these are the type of transformations trying to actually enable more holistically now, right, for our customers, and partner with great firms like Mambu and Deloitte to make that happen. And as we see this take place and as this really move forward, start to really transform our customer base, but also to acquire new customers going forward, it's been very interesting. As part of it, we've seen a pretty big shift as we've actually done more customer research and we've done more focus groups with our customers. There's a lot of demand around this and a lot of need for this. So the more and more we see that, the more and more we get excited about actually moving forward faster and enabling more of these services to our customers going forward.
Yeah, Tom, that's exciting. And obviously, not only are you focused on the customer experience, but you're really thinking about things outside of the box, right? Like the shopping example that you just gave really does change the way that not only your customers interact with Western Union, but it changes the way that your customers can interact with their family members, their friends, and so on. Anything else innovative, kind of game-changing like that you can share? I don't want you to go ahead and tell us any secrets, but anything else like that from your mind that really does change the way your customers may interact with Western Union?
So we do a few more things on the horizon. I can't speak openly about them at this point in time, but I can talk about a few other things we are doing as well. So we are doing a big transformation right now around actually the customer experience around our current products. So being able to enable a real-time chatbot, right, that allows us to move from a AI ML bot to a live person in the same window, to the same window to do an actual call with our call center directly. So really providing that seamless experience from a customer standpoint, whether you need to talk to someone live, talk to on a live chat, or talk to someone physically live on a phone call, we can enable that for you in a very seamless way now across our digital channels. On top of that, being able to transform how we do pricing. So being able to help support our customers that are loyal customers of ours, provide them with the best price going forward. And on top of that, we also just went down a path of transforming and modernizing our entire rewards platform across the world. So many people don't know, but we actually have over 24 million active loyalty members today around the world. That's a huge number. That's massive, actually, right? And it's spread across both our retail business plus our online business. And what's really interesting about this is being able to provide a more seamless and improved experience around rewards and loyalty is quite important, because that drives that retention of our customers and keeps them coming back to us going forward. So we see a huge opportunity there as well to expand upon additional services and products on the reward side as well going forward.
That's great. Sounds really exciting. And we definitely wish you lots of luck in all those new initiatives. Yeah, Tim, as we're sitting here listening to Western Union, and I think about the global nature of their business, and obviously Deloitte partners with a number of different types of organizations on transformation, whether that's global or maybe some more that are regional. Do you see the same types of initiatives coming out of both regional organizations and global? Or do you think this is really just a play for a much larger global type of company?
No. I mean, we definitely see it across geographies, right? We see it regionally here in the Americas. We see it globally. We see it with institutions that have like the name brand recognition, the global reach of the Western Union, as well as in the U.S. marketplace. We see it down market into smaller banks, almost at the community bank level, right? And so what's really interesting about this time is that these things, because of a lot of lessons people have learned during the pandemic and how quickly they were able to do things to accelerate their own digital journeys and support kind of government scheme models, or in the US, the PPP programs, and the success around that, you're seeing this tremendous kind of now uptake in institutions of all scales, seeing with confidence that they can achieve these different digital modernizations and really leaning into it. And so we see, opportunity of globally oriented institutions, local institutions to do something different. And again, it comes back into this real deliberate decision of what's going to be the right investment and strategy that's going to fit who you are as an institution, as a bank, right? What's going to be organized around that, and how you can make it feasible within the construct of who you are and who you serve. And again, could be a big global institution like Western Union, or it could be a local community bank, and seeing some real success with that stuff.
And there's so much going on right now from the whole changing of financial services, right? Whether that's inside the banking industry itself or outside, as you just kind of described. So many buzzwords out there. You already mentioned banking as a service a little bit earlier. What other types of initiatives are out there? What other buzzwords are out there that we should be listening for as you think about some of the things that your clients are looking to start embarking down?
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, as the leader of our banking as a service practice, that's always my favorite one to talk about. But I mean, I fundamentally believe in the market research will play this out, which is the biggest opportunity within the industry is to really, in this model of convergence, and how you actually support the industries and embed finance in different type of services within non-traditional banking relationships. We see that globally as this massive new marketplace that people are now starting to take advantage of, and some real early players in. And so what you're going to see is, institutions like what Tom has done at Western Union that invested in the kind of underpinnings that are required to be able to, support these different market strategies is kind of the pathway forward, because that's what frees you up to be able to do things really quickly, right? To be able to innovate and trial and test these things and know that you have the solid base different approaches, and then also to be able to serve in different distribution models. Our thinking has largely been about the provider and the aggregators for this stuff, and we see a tremendous future around there in terms of how that's going to play out in the Americas and globally.
And then Tom, what about yourself? I mean, even if you take off the Western Union hat, just being a student of this industry, what are you excited about? What are some of the buzzwords or some of the things that you are really curious to see how they continue to evolve here over the rest of this year and into next?
Yeah, it's actually quite exciting. There's a huge evolution going on right now, whether it be with financial services, whether it be with crypto, whether it be with even the theme around loyalty, rewards, right? Once you acquire a customer, keeping that customer happy, right? And keeping them with you. There's a pretty large shift happening right now where how I like to frame it to my team is most people here are either customers of Apple, Google, or Microsoft, right? And every single one of those companies, they focus so much on customer experience and being able to provide a seamless experience and a great experience as part of their products. Consumers today want that exact same experience no matter what they're doing, whether it be buying food, whether it be ordering food out, using financial services, right? Buying the new phone, whatever it may be, everyone wants that same heightened, personalized experience, right? And I think that's really the key here, is that everyone's looking for that. And if you don't have that, they're going to go look for it somewhere else. This is what Tim was saying earlier. And I think it's actually quite important that no matter what industry you are in, whether it be healthcare, financial services, pharmaceuticals, right? Consumer goods, doesn't matter. Having that customer experience and that personalized experience and offering products that are relevant and continue to evolve as the consumer evolves is really important, because then it keeps the customer with you going forward, and then you can acquire new on top of that baseline.
So I think what you just described really goes back to what the session's title was today, right? When growth isn't difficult, it's urgent. And I get into this world of instant gratification, right? We all want it all and we all want it now. And what you're describing is really making sure that that customer experience is at the forefront of anything that any organization is thinking about, especially in the world of financial services. So much competition, so many new entrants into this particular market, and everyone wanting more of that share of wallet, and everyone wanting more from that customer loyalty, right? Everyone wants to keep the customer relationships they have, and at the same time continue to grow and grow and grow. So I think that becomes critical. And Tim, as you think about the engagements that Deloitte is in, and you've already touched on this a little bit, but just kind of following on to what Tom just spoke to, outside of customer experience, what should organizations be focusing on to try and hit this idea of change and modernization and just the urgency behind it? Anything else to kind of pile on top of the customer experience, or what's the best way to get to that nirvana state of customer experience?
Yeah, I mean, a couple thoughts in there. One is around the urgency, which is the market shows us, which is people recognize the urgency. Like, people are moving quickly and investing more to kind of really accelerate the way that they can innovate and how they can meet the customers where they're at now and where they're going in the future place. And so I think one of the things that we always talk about with our clients is, how do you actually make that happen faster? How do you actually get new propositions to the market faster? And then what's required underneath that to make that actually reality from a cloud standpoint, from a core standpoint, from integration in the ecosystem, and all the things you got to compose to be able to do this. And I think, other big key to this, Tom teed this up, and it's always like Tom always talks to us about this stuff. Data as the lifeblood of an organization, right? Like, again, this goes back to, you can't just have the same strategy as everybody else. You're a unique institution, your customers are unique. You have to know more about them, right? You have to make the right decisions at the right point in time, at the right price, to really be able to make those, relationships stick and expanded. And so there's this real kind of backbone around data and intelligence that you can do, where we see the market really, investing in and getting more value out of. Tom's really led the charge with that at Western Union, and we see other innovative organizations making similar plays, where it's not just getting kind of the foundational part of data, but it's really starting to get the stuff that leads to insights and differentiated type of propositions as a core part of what they can pose together for these next gen stacks.
And tying this all back to data makes all the sense in the world, but I think what a lot of people forget is what you started to reference. I'm going to throw a softball here to Tom, but when you talk about data, right, everybody's got it, but what's important is what you actually do with it, right? And if it's actionable and if you actually can utilize it. Tom, as we start to wrap up here, any thoughts on just the use of that data and how maybe Western Union, in conjunction with Mambu and Deloitte, how you've put together something that really allows you to leverage what you have going on to go ahead and hit some of your strategies and objectives?
Yeah, this is an interesting piece, and we definitely see across the industry firms at different levels, right? Being able to access and to leverage their data to really help to service their customers better. The interesting piece that I've seen is also, there's another buzzword here, right? AI, ML, artificial intelligence, machine learning, right? You hear that all the time. When I talk to a lot of my peers, a lot of them right now are doing a lot of that internally. So they're doing it basically for their back office, their internal employees, and so forth. And that, to me, actually is a big miss, right? If you're not able to leverage AI and ML to really help to focus on improving and personalizing those customer experiences, those customer journeys, and to really provide them with that seamless experience, you're missing something big here, right? That's what everybody else is doing. Everyone else is focused on that, because that's how you provide that seamless and that personalized experience going forward. On top of that is to your point, understanding your customer holistically, right? All the different touch points, right? And understanding how you better can serve them, and beyond that, being able to understand what do they want before they even ask for it, And I'm sure many of you know, Amazon and what they do. I mean, it's quite amazing the things that they can offer as part of next best offer or their engine to provide the next best product and good and service, right, as part of that customer flow. That's where that's actually going to, is they think about financial services being able to really provide either the next financial service product or like a complementary product that fits that customer to provide them with that offer that they're actually looking for. And I think that is really where the industry is going and transforming to. And to your point, having a platform and a foundation that can allow you to plug in different modules and different components to enable that seamless customer experience, that personalization, being able to understand the customer enough to offer them the right next product at the right price, at the right time, at the right part of the journey is really important. And that's really where I see AI and ML taking off, is really being able to basically provide that that seamless experience, that seamless product offering at the right time.
Now that's perfect. And Tim, one more question for you, because Tom started to mention, a number of different types of tools and started going down this kind of ecosystem path. And there's a lot of different pieces and parts that you need to really do this effectively. And Tim, earlier you mentioned, organizations of all sizes starting to engage in this type of environment. And one of the things that you mentioned early on was that you are the leader of your banking as a service practice. Is there anything from a banking as a service perspective, especially as you think about organizations who don't quite know which pieces and parts they need or how to assemble the right type of solution set? Does the banking as a service practice play into that?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for the tip, Howard. So, I mean, effectively, we've taken a lot of the experiences and muscle that we built in the marketplace of where across kind of these ecosystem-based models, sensing of which different providers, fintechs, legacy providers are really fit for purpose for which different propositions. And then, so much of the real kind of capital intensity for these major modernizations is in this upfront piece of the integration and kind of getting these propositions to kind of be harmonized, right, across the 40 different fintechs that you put together with your core and landed into the cloud, right? And so from a Deloitte standpoint, what we've done is invested in taking that kind of first push and pre-integrating a lot of the different vendors that are part of that ecosystem, and then orchestrating that into digestible, onboarding and servicing experiences, so that so much of that kind of initial investment, has already been made. And so that banks of all scales can take advantage of the fact that those things have been foundationally built out, have been pre-integrated, and then the real CapEx can be focused on how do you make the propositions unique for you and what you're going to push in the marketplace for your customers. And so that's what we see as a real kind of difference from what we build out, is the ability to accelerate the time to value, and then really to be able to take a lot of that kind of initial foundational investment off the table because we've already made that foundational investment.
Perfect. And then that just gets them a quicker path towards that customer expectation, right? And really improving upon that. So that's fantastic. Well, guys, really appreciate your time today. Certainly appreciate your partnership, and we really value the relationship we have with both Western Union and Deloitte. Thanks again.
Thanks, Howard.
Thanks so much.